When you reach the frequency of the new earth, you will also have fair and equal exchange, so that everyone will feel abundant because you will automatically be able. The new earth is about all the things that Cullen and Pia mentioned, but those things only exist in the higher frequencies. In the lower frequencies, you have pain, suffering, competition, greed, everything that causes you to react in a place that comes from absolute fear. Look at your own shadows and begin to love yourself as you clear those shadows. You raise your vibration continually, meaning that you are step by step raising your frequency so that you can ascend into the new earth. New earth is here now. So when I say ascend into the new earth, I mean,
welcome to the New Earth Eden podcast. I'm Eden Kaz. Pia and Cullen, I'm looking at you guys in the face. Welcome back. How are y'all?
Thank you, Eden. Delighted to be here.
We love having conversations with you. The topics, the ideas that organically come up are fascinating, deep, and wonderful. So we always love speaking with you and your audience.
Well, Cullen, thank you so much because y'all are my only reoccurring guests, and this is our 21st time recording. And I'm going to talk about that in a second for everybody watching, listening. I'm going to include all the links to all of our past shows because I feel they're very important. I'm going to talk about that as well. And we're also going to go into a lightning round later on today. Yet, let me go right into y'all's bio. Husband and wife, PhDs, Pia Smith, Orlean, and Cullen Baird Smith, communicators to the stars, as well as other worldly beings. They are writers, visionaries, intuitives, Pia being a former psychologist and Cullen being trained in anthropology and archaeology. Oh, these lovely 3D components that are important. Together, linked, they bring planetary wisdom from the stars from a group of Palladian light beings known as Lark-Ma, or it could be someone else. They have offered decades of impactful work and commitment to the Earth and humanity, including Palladian Earth astrology. And they keep on going. And it's pretty fun, right, guys? What is it getting more and more exciting?
Of course.
Absolutely.
Of course. More things are opening up. That opens our hearts. It opens our perspectives. How could it be anything but exciting?
The energies,
Yes.
the energies that are coming to Earth are absolutely different, deeper, more helpful than any other generation on this planet has ever experienced. So we are in the midst of absolute change, absolute transformation. We're in a different zone completely.
I want to ask you guys about what you see with New Earth, but let's continue with this a minute because I am feeling it. And I am feeling more peaceful and happy, but there's been a lot of work I've been doing too, like clearing off really old stuff once and for all. And there was one moment that I was in the midst of it. It was like another dark night of the soul where I was snot crying and going, I don't think I can do this. And this was just like a month and a month and a half ago. And I've been doing this for a long time. But in coming out of that, I feel like I've jumped through timelines and mystical more. And I know y'all have done mystical stuff your whole lives, but more of that feels like it's coming. What would y'all say to that?
We'd say you've gotten your vibration up to where you're supposed to be. Good job.
Thank you.
I think what you just explained is a very accurate understanding of how we're changing, how we're opening up, how we're metamorphizing into what P and I call our future selves. So I think you are spot on timing wise to mimic and be involved with the transformative process that we're all in right now. So I would say bravo.
Well, thank you so much because I'm going to go into this for a moment. You guys are going to be my first guest on the re-release of the show. So moving from Just Be Spiritual Boom into New Earth Eden, because thank you, Cullen, in terms of my work moving forward, I have to be the new earth. I have to be it and exemplify it. And woo! And I've been working on that for a long time. But it was really neat as I look, the first time you guys were on the show was November 13th, 2022. And I'm going to include again all the links from the past shows because it really is a biography of your lives. Because we've talked about how you guys came together. So I wrote down some things. Your love story. We talked about 5D love, growing up differently, seeing angels. Number 13, the Kali Yuga. Pia, some of the questions you raised at church as a young child, knowing that we were both from the South, Georgia. Cullen, you being on the one plane where the doors flew off. I mean, we have had some great conversations. And I would say that we talk about topical things, but 90% of it is wisdom that stands the test of time. We've also, okay, and I think this is what separates our show apart as we also get into the Masons, Aleister Crowley, cell phones. We've tackled spy tech, Ozempic, and what is it, GLP-1s? I don't even know what they're called. Is that right?
I don't know what a GLP-1 is.
I think that's the brand name that they're calling all these products now outside of Ozempic.
You just educated us on that.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. And there's so much. We talked about the real ID, food, sugar, smart meters, direct energy weapons. So we don't just talk about the shiny, airy fairy parts on this show. We go into stuff that you need to see. How on a lot of shows that you guys go on, do they really get into the nitty gritty of everything? What would y'all say to that?
Do you want to
go ahead?
Sometimes, yes, but often there's too much structure. There's too much forethought about what questions are we going to discuss? What topics are we going to talk about?
Yeah.
And so, yes, we do talk about the nitty gritty. We talk about more, I don't know how to say this, maybe less important ideas that people really need to understand and delve more deeply into. So the best way I can answer your question is yes and no.
And I would say it largely depends upon the interviewer, like you. You're a magnificent interviewer. The interviewers who allow it to go in an organic flow, we get into all kinds of things that people need to hear and that we share. Deep, profound questions. If it's too structured, as Cullen just said, it can remain a little bit surface. So it depends. We're on a lot of shows. We've been on hundreds of podcasts over all the years we've been doing this, and they've been varied.
Are you finished with that thought? We were on an interview podcast just I don't know, a few days ago. And at the end of the podcast, the interviewer said, one of the reasons I like connecting with you is you're very concrete. You're very serious about what you're involved with. And then the statement went to this point and said, you're not wishy-washy. You are absolutely concrete. That word was used again. And sometimes we feel like maybe we're a little too out there. Maybe we're a little too definite, but we're only bringing the wisdom that's given to us from all of these energies, and we don't filter it. We don't kid glove it. We don't change it. We simply bring what's given to us out as absolutely cleanly and purely as we can.
And it's intended to break apart the old paradigm and bring in new perspectives that open people's hearts and their minds. So the intention is always with love and accessing the wisdom of what's been shared with us from all these different realms so that others can have the same benefit of hearing this perspective.
So the show started out as, oh, we're going through this great awakening right now. So what does that mean for you? It's a spiritual battle. There's good and evil, and it's time in this 3D, if we want to call it, to really take a look at the evil and the good, however you want to label it, and really see that we're all of it, that it's all okay, that part of this process is we get to make a choice in terms of who we want to be, where we want to go, and we have to see all of it in our face to make that choice.
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay. And you guys were the first one to come on the show with basically I was like, okay, let's talk about this and this, but now we're going to go into the galactical piece, which is a huge part of all of this. And when I had you guys come on the show, it was the first time that I'd really introduced that to my audience. So we went into, oh, they're PhDs and, all the 3D stuff to make people understand. And it's so funny that now, oh my gosh, it's also starting to be so much more revealed and so much more common. What would y'all say to that?
I would say that yes, much more is being revealed, obviously. And yes, more and more people are open. So it is becoming more common for people to tap into this area of wisdom. And at the same time, simultaneously, because we are in a planet of duality, there are a tremendous amount of people who are what Cullen calls false prophets,
Yeah.
who just want to jump on the bandwagon and they have all the right phraseology, all the right language, but they're demonstrating from their lives a completely different path. So there's both. There's the great opening that people are experiencing, and then there's those that go, "Oh, I want to be seen that way, so I'm going to do this too."
Yeah.
There's both.
That and it doesn't really matter, as you said a moment ago, about what anyone's 3D credentials are.
Yeah.
It's all about heart. It's all about deeply, deeply, continually coming from the heart over and over again. The alphabet soup behind people's names used to be a very special moniker of, oh, this person's really well educated. This
Yeah.
person's really experienced.
The sign of legitimacy.
And
Yes.
I think at this point, it doesn't matter what certificates, what education, what background people come from, as long as they're bringing only one thing forward, and that is simply the truth.
And we've talked in the past a lot about discernment. Any new guidance on that?
The basic rule still applies, and that is
Awesome.
if you have an emotional component to what you're feeling, it's judgment. If you're looking at it from a distance, it's discernment. There's no emotion involved, and you're just discerning what aligns with you and what doesn't. Accepting others where they are, accepting situations for what they are, without having any desire to change it or have other expectations. But if you're going, well, they shouldn't be that, and this is wrong, then you've got judgment in there because your emotions are coming to the surface. And always, always, from the Pleiadian view, emotions are there to guide us back into our hearts, to realign with the peace and calm that's here and see how we ourselves are out of balance. It's not the outer world, it's always from in here, because the outer world will only change when we change.
I think there's a really easy equation to understand here. Judgment comes from the mind, discernment comes from the heart. And
Nice.
when we stop judging through the filterization of our minds, that is where we jump into a completely different understanding of not only who we are, but how we perceive other energies, meaning other people, other situations. And if we're discerning, it's a much more accurate way of perceiving what's going on all around us. If we're judging, that stops our ability to really look at things clearly and through the eyes or the focus of love. And that's why discernment really comes from the heart. And all humans still, to a certain extent, have a knee-jerk reaction to judge, judge, judge. Everybody on any given day still has that sensibility or that misability to use judgment instead of discernment.
That's always a journey of trying to stay centered within ourselves and make sure that we're discerning from the heart rather than judging because of what the mind thinks.
Now, what would y'all, and knowing that is still, okay, how do I word this too? I feel like I have moved from it, but you're right. There's still that, oh, this is what we're used to. This is how we do things. How can y'all give a meaty tool how you would know that you're discerning from the heart rather judging from the mind?
Sure.
And you might have already said it, but just if you can compound it even more.
That's easy. What are you feeling?
Mm-hmm.
Stop and look at what am I feeling? Because people tend to distract themselves from what they're feeling,
Mm-hmm.
or they don't want to look at it, or they try to rationalize it. Just stop and feel it. And if it's uncomfortable, that's an emotion and you're in judgment. And if it feels pretty good, that's a discernment. That's from the heart.
And that is a really key element in Pia used the term false prophet a moment ago.
Yeah.
There are a lot of people, whether they really believe they're coming through their hearts or whether they're really bringing the truth out to humanity, when anyone looks at a podcast or listens to someone outside of themselves, if what they're hearing truly resonates with their heart and makes them feel good, makes them feel joyous or blissful, that's an indication that they're really, truly listening to someone who's bringing forward truth, heart wisdom, etc., etc., etc. But if someone's listening to someone that's bringing a fear sensation,
something that makes them anxious
or uncomfortable, that's when our discernment comes into play, and we need to say or feel, well, that really doesn't resonate with me. I'm not going to follow that information. I'm not going to follow that logic. And I think we're at the point now where there's so much disinformation, there's so much untruth, non-truth being given to us. It doesn't matter where it comes from, but if it feels good, follow it. If it feels uncomfortable, or as Pia just said, if it makes us feel anxious, step away from it.
We've been so programmed into fear that that's the way it should be. So to be able to step away from that, I mean, that's part of this process as well. May I ask, what do y'all feel are maybe one or two of the biggest pieces of misinformation that are being spoon fed? I don't know if that's the right word to us right now.
Well, there's a basis to answer this question, and the basis is we have to break the ancient pattern of looking outside of ourselves for answers.
Heck yeah.
We look in a hierarchical structure. We feel like, well, I don't know anything. I have to go to my parents, my teachers, religion, the government, anything outside of us. One of the greatest pieces of Pleiadian wisdom, Larkma always tells people, don't believe us, trust your own heart.
Yeah.
We're here to empower you to find the wisdom and the answers in your own heart. And we appreciate that because we're constantly, as humans, automatically going towards, well, who can tell me the answer to this? Who can give me the truth? Instead of just getting quiet and saying, what does my body need? What am I working through? Outside perspective is valuable. We wouldn't be doing the work we do if we weren't bringing in valuable outside perspective. But relying upon something else, the truth, instead of seeing if it aligns with your heart, that's a very key place we need to start. So I would say that's the basis of what we need to work on.
I would chime in here and say, if I'm going to be really concrete and if I'm really going to be not wishy-washy, I would say the two elements to answer your question very directly. There are two things that are going on, and P and I are very definite, very steadfast about this. Runaway science that is so pervasive right now. We are mimicking, we are completely redoing what happened in Atlantis all those eons ago. We are using science without understanding what the future ramifications, what are all of these new ideas, all of these new experimental situations going to have an impact on us, humanity, the earth, the cosmos. Runaway science is not being governed by any kind of cautionary limitation. It just is running and running in any direction it wants to go. And it is absolutely dangerous. The second thing, which is actually more important, is our stance on the proliferation of, and you can guess what I'm going to say, AI.
Yes.
We are told that AI will make our lives easier, better. It will make us smarter. It will do all of these things that actually, in a new earth, in a future human understanding, is absolutely the opposite of what we're being told.
Can I chime in here?
You may.
AI is a data collector. There are all these false things out there that say, well, we're working on sentient beings, we're working on consciousness. Consciousness is not possible if there is no heart. A data collecting machine can have no heart. It can be programmed to mimic consciousness, but it's just a mimicry. It is not real heart-based. So when someone's using AI and it's saying, let me write this report for you, let me look up your answers, it's actually stealing our creativity. It just takes whatever we have and says, I'll do it for you. And our creativity and our responsibility are both stolen. So this is a true devastating detriment of where humanity is heading if we don't make some changes.
I'm going to govern myself right now because this is such a big issue.
Yeah.
There is a laundry list that I have compiled. It's 12 or 13 points, and I'm not going to mention them all, but I'm just going to throw a few things out. AI has no heart. AI will never have consciousness. AI will have things that may sound silly, but AI will never have human humor. It just won't happen. AI does not have empathy. AI does not have morality. I could go on, and I promised I wouldn't, so I will stop. But AI is not our friend, and it will take humanity in the wrong direction.
Two other things to add to that. You asked for the most important ones about the lies we've been told,
Mm-hmm.
and we hit on what we feel are the essential baseline that we need to look at. But also, we've been lied about everything. We've
Yeah.
been lied about food, what we should eat, what's good for us, without taking into consideration highest good for all and respect for all life. We've been lied to about governments and what if they're helping us or not. We've been lied to across the board, medicine. So just recognizing that we have to go inside ourselves and see if what we're being told resonates or not is really important right now.
In terms of other science that is running amok, Cullen and Pia, you as well, and is there, like, in terms of oh gosh, my mind just went blank. Not only AI, but I'm thinking about HARP and some of the other and cloud seeding and that sort of thing that's going on. Is there anything else specifically that you want to bring to our attention?
Well, the connection between what you just said and the AI and the 5G, 6G satellite.
Yeah, that too.
Elon Musk has now asked for permission to put 1 million of them into our atmosphere, 1 million, one of which is going to be a data collector to synthesize all AI information so that we down here can be controlled. So, yeah, that's pretty important.
So fun. So fun. Thank you.
Your
Thank you for
question,
all of that.
your question could take up an entire
Yeah.
podcast. there are so many things. One of the things that our Pleiadian colleagues and friends tell us is that our technology is archaic, even though we think it's cutting edge.
Yeah.
P and I don't think that, but we as a society think that. What they've been explaining to us is that our technology is mechanical and dense. The
Like
technology,
us.
the technology out in the universe, in the cosmos, is produced through the use of light and sound. It has no detrimental qualities. All of our technology here on Earth in 3D produces dangerous elements. EMFs. All technology creates EMFs. The EMFs are causing cognitive absolute disorder in our brains.
And decline.
And so what the Pleiadians, and it's not just the Pleiadians, the Arcturians, many of our space family groups are saying, you believe your technology is really wonderful, and they're trying to help us understand that we're going in the wrong direction. If it's mechanical, if it's dense, it's harmful. If it's light filled, if it comes from love, it has no deleterious effects for us personally, but for the entire planet. The animals, the trees, the flowers, the bees, everything is being affected negatively by our archaic technology.
Inner Earth beings, too. We spoke about the interstellar friends, but inner Earth beings are telling us, you think that you can just go out and dig a crystal or purchase a crystal, and then you can confine it to what you want it to do, heal, whatever you want it to do. And they said, you use crystals in your technology also. This is slavery. This is nothing but abuse and slavery. And the inner Earth beings are saying, we have all that we need in Earth, which is the direction the new Earth is going, that is focused upon the light that the crystals give automatically. They don't have to be cut up. They don't have to be chipped and put into something. They don't have to be controlled and manipulated. They give because they're conscious beings. And that wisdom is coming to the surface now also as we're being encouraged to get rid of the smartphones, get rid of them. Stop doing things that harm the crystal kingdom. Learn to turn our attention towards focusing on frequency, vibration, and light. And that's what New Earth is all about. It's about a higher frequency that is not involved with this density and mechanics that Cullen just so brilliantly explained, but focus instead upon our inner light and how we connect with the light of all consciousness.
We've talked about the inner earth beings before, and we talked about caves and crystals, yet I don't think you communicated quite that directly about crystals, which that is really impactful. And going into the new earth for a moment, as we talk about moving from these mechanics, moving more into light, into energy and frequency, what do y'all feel it's going to feel like?
Bliss, joy,
Freedom,
harmony,
limitlessness. I mean,
connection, abundance.
So many of the things we're involved with keep us in a proverbial box. Mm-hmm. They keep us in a compartmentalized situation where we don't see the whole, we don't see the greater picture. And that's something that many of our friends are talking about. The angelic kingdom has talked recently in some of our podcasts, some of our YouTubes, about the fact that we compartmentalize everything. And we can look at government, we can look at religion, but we can especially look at medicine. And modern scientific medicine has compartmentalized everything. There's a specialist for every part of the body.
But the key word there is part of the body, not the whole.
Each of these specialists only looks at and works with a small portion of who we really are physically. And they have lost their compass. They have lost their way of seeing that science and medicine has to look at the entire body, not just one organ or one part of us, one gland. And unfortunately, this compartmentalization has caused science and medicine to disunderstand, and I mean that word, disunderstand the totality of who we really are. Because if you dissect and compartmentalize each little part, there's no understanding of how they all work together. And that's part of what's going on in what I call the runaway science.
Oh my God, I was going to add that too, because it is like science running amok that right now Western medicine is so, let me watch my words there, so harmful to radiation, chemotherapy. I mean, that is literally a way to kill yourself.
Barbaric.
Yes.
Barbaric.
I'm
Yes.
glad you brought that up. It's really interesting to think about chemotherapy and radiation therapy as a life enhancing
Oh.
experiment, when actually both of those experiments, both of those techniques are anti-life. They kill cells. They say that we're only killing cancer cells. However, they also kill cells all over the body. And you can't do something to the body that's degrading the entire body, thinking you're isolating it and only focusing it on a certain area. That just isn't true. So thank you for bringing that up, because it's incredibly important that these last ditch efforts to save lives are actually degrading lives. They're not helping.
And from the Pleiadian perspective, Larkma says the basis of all cancer is fear. So when people get that big C diagnosis, it ramps up their fear automatically and makes them easier to control. And so the cancer is going to get worse, not better, because they're stepping more into fear instead of saying, oh, I've got something here that's out of balance. Let me see if I can come back into nature and find a better balance in myself to heal this. So fear is a real problem, and it propels the medical industry, is what Cullen just described, to go ahead and kill people through these harmful technologies.
Because this is the last thing to try. If you don't do this, you're going to die. If you don't, you know,
That's the falsity of it, Eden. That is the absolute falsity of it. People all over have recovered from cancer without chemotherapy and radiation by following alternative, not FDA approved, but alternative remedies that have saved their lives.
Yeah.
That, again, is going into the heart and listening to the wisdom of the body rather than
yes.
looking outside and listening to some hierarchical authority.
Yeah, it's interesting. I personally have gone through watching in my own family people with cancer who are on the fence of, should I or shouldn't I use these dangerous remedies?
Yeah.
And when I say remedies, it's tongue in cheek. But
Gotcha.
what I've watched is it's often loved ones who don't want to lose the person who has the problem. Other loved ones, other than the person going through the experience themselves, say, I don't want to lose you. I don't want you to die. So please
Pressure.
do all of these.
Please take this poison.
Please do all of these, as you said, last ditch efforts, because I don't want you to go away. I don't want to lose you. And unfortunately, family members influence the person when maybe they would say, I'm done. I'm going to do something else. As Pia said, I'm going to do something alternative, or I'm just going to try to heal my own body in my own way. That pressure from family members is really unfortunate.
Well, and there too, to add on to that, I just recently had a friend who has a coworker that has some sort of cancer. And the friend also said, oh my God, why don't you try these? Look into your diet. There's so many things that you can do. And she at the same time went, nah, I'm just going to do this. Like, it is so hard for people to also look inside of themselves and to really like, am I powerful enough that I can fix this myself? But what am I going to have to look at? What am I going to have to come to terms with? I mean, that's a biggie. Then my partner, I guess this is okay to talk about, had cancer a while back, a long time ago, actually, and did some radiation. And after that decided I'm going to, really look into food and stop eating sugar. And he cured everything. Yet during the radiation, there was something that happened to him physically that they didn't tell him this may not be anymore. And he went through it. And then the after effect of it, like there's a part of him that's like, I would rather be dead than not having this function. But I am here, I'm alive. But it took pieces away from him that he didn't realize were going to be taken away. So it's so harmful, not only to the physical body, but to the psyche, and then also adjusting without this or whatever. Who am I now?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. That is part of what we call bad training, because often medicine doesn't explain to people what the true side effects might be. They don't do that because they don't want to scare the person off from utilizing what they're telling them they need to do. So you're absolutely accurate and truthful about bringing that up, because it's a shadowy situation about a lot of things that modern medicine promises. But if they told the truth about, well, this may happen to you too, people would make a different decision.
And what do y'all think about like the MRI machines and all of that goes and looks into the body, and getting like breast exams, and the falsity behind so many of these tools that help you discover things that are wrong with you?
I think the mandate that a woman has to have a mammogram once a year is ridiculous. It's painful. It stresses the breast tissue. It's not helpful, just to prove that she doesn't have to be afraid there's something wrong. I would say if there's something wrong, then you have to notice it yourself and then work on how you're going to treat it. And that maybe there's a place for an ultrasound here and there if something really isn't showing up the way you need to look at it. But this constant prevalence of mammograms, MRIs, and this is what you have to do next, especially when they add contrast into it, which is poison, is absolutely detrimental to healing. So we need a different direction. Sort of like emergency room medicine is necessary, but you don't want to go to the emergency room for a cold. Same thing with all the MRIs and the mammograms and all that.
Yeah, there's an element here that I will have to be very quiet and careful about.
Please don't.
But what we're talking about right now is money-driven medicine.
Yep.
All of these exotic and what we would call unnecessary techniques are part of the corporate medical industry. And much of these therapies, much of these experimental techniques are a money grab. They're about making more money for the industry. And people need to stand up and say, no, I don't want to do that. But the practitioner, the doctor, the technician will say immediately, but you need this because we need to know. And the trouble is, the therapies and the experimental techniques don't necessarily give the clear right answer. It's all an experiment.
And also with that, Eden, there are remedies out there that will cure major conditions that are not FDA approved, simply because if they approve them, the big pharma loses money. They can't prescribe this, they can't prescribe that, they can't prescribe the other, and all the expensive medications go away because it's the earthly remedy that is available, only costing pennies, is not FDA approved. And if they approve it, they lose the money.
Well, let's go into the COVID vaccines.
Absolutely.
That there were things that would help with that, but basically, we're not going to go there. We're going to outlaw these things because, we got to make money. And there's more in terms of the vaccines versus, disconnecting you from source. And there were lots of plans within that. Also, the medical system right now in terms of, you come in and they've got your whole history on the computer. Like, I really stay away from that and like tracking it all. What would y'all say? I'm doing my fingers like this for those who can't see it. What would y'all say to that?
Well, can I give you a little personal example that I don't mind sharing with your audience?
Please. Let's take a quick pause from this amazing show and take a breath. Okay, what if there are more easy tools to help you heal, moving from this 3D to 4D to 5D and beyond experience? I am going to share Hooga Health, HOOGA health.com, and 12% off using my link down below. These products will help with pain relief, skin healing, hair growth, muscle spasms, cellular repair, and way more. Their products include red light therapy, which I have a huge panel at my house that I love for skin anti-aging as well. PEMF therapy, color light therapy, sauna therapy. Check them out and heal, heal, heal. Onto the show.
Well, can I give you a little personal example that I don't mind sharing with your audience?
Please.
I had to do an emergency room treatment in November of last year because it appeared that I was having an acute appendicitis attack. We watched it for like 3 days and it got worse and worse and worse, and finally said, okay, time to go. So I went to the emergency room, which, by the way, absolutely did nothing for me.
Oh, man.
Requested my medical records after that. We healed that on our own without whatever the emergency room did. The only thing they did was rule out that my appendix was actually okay and not bursting. Other than that, they couldn't resolve anything. But I requested my medical records, and when I got them, part of the thing in the medical records said this patient has had a complete hysterectomy. And I went, what? When did that happen?
No way.
I have all of my internal organs, not only all of my female organs, but my appendix, my tonsils, everything. Yet my medical records showed that I had had a complete hysterectomy. That's the worst of it. A whole bunch of other things were all wrong. So I think artificial intelligence is too involved in what they get in the medical records and putting it together and gets confused or mixes things up or whatever. I think that's another indication of what's going on with our medical system.
There's a battle going on right now. There are certain countries, Australia and the United Kingdom, are really pushing AI-driven medical collective information. And they are pushing it to the extent that it requires digital ID in order to do this.
Yeah.
And Australia and the United Kingdom are the foremost countries, even more than here in America, that are saying, if you don't comply with us having all of your medical information, we will not allow you to have freedom of choice about travel, about food, about everything in our lives that we deal with on an everyday basis. They're saying, if you don't comply with this digital ID that is really basically around medical information, that we're going to put you in a category where you're not going to be able to deal with things that you need to deal with on an everyday basis. That is a slippery slope into a really, really dangerous governmental control situation. And it's not just those two countries, but they're the two that are really pushing it. America is going towards it. Many other countries, China, India, Pakistan, many, many countries are also pushing for this digital ID, but they're telling us it's for your medical safety.
Yeah. Anything with safety.
Yeah. And just think, if we go back 6 years, the whole COVID idea was, this is for your medical safety.
The only safety ever is the safety in our heart, because we're listening to our inner guidance. That's where safety comes from, not from listening to outside authorities that are trying to control us.
And do y'all have a pulse? I know that the UK was fighting or resisting some of this, yet there were also a lot of people being charged for if they put something on social media that the government didn't like, they were getting massive charges and being put in prison. Where is that right now? Do y'all have an idea?
Yes, it's developing faster and faster.
Okay.
I would repeat, Australia and the UK
Okay.
are the forerunners of this.
With people disappearing,
The
they
UK
actually disappear.
the UK has a new system, and I wish I could recall the actual name for it right now, but they have squads with white vans that are driving around cities in the UK, listening to people's podcasts, listening to people's YouTubes. And if the government believes right there on the spot that that person is saying things that are not complying with government rules, they are actually knocking on the door, taking those people into
Custody.
a custody confinement situation. Australia is doing the same thing.
And sometimes the people wind up in jail and sometimes they just disappear.
It's a reality.
It's
It's not something that's a future
Yeah.
development. It's actually going on right now.
Well, they'd be knocking on our doors right now, taking us into little padded cells and making us disappear. So peace, light to everything. That if y'all get a knock right now, I'll be like, ooh, what's going on? We are still in an intense, chaotic realm, it's weird. Seems like parts of it get more chaotic if you choose really to look at that, and then parts of it at the same time are getting much more light and much more joyous, kind of like this great split that we've been talking about and really experiencing. All right, I want to change over for just a minute. Okay, two if I can group them together, two things I want y'all to talk about. Okay, so for the galactics and the cosmos, knowing that that has purposely been hidden, I believe, from us, because not only are we linked to the cosmos, but genetically we are tied. We are that. And when people start to really understand that more, the abilities that we have that are innate within us, just, fostering and blooming. So beautiful. And then in terms of the elementals like fairies and unicorns, what is the difference between those? Can I call them elements as well? Yeah, are the fairies and the unicorns on Earth, but a different parallel of Earth? Yeah, can y'all talk about that a little bit?
Well, I can tell you that we are here in the third dimension, and we have definitely seen fairies and little people since we were children.
Yeah.
You go out in the woods and play and be in the right frequency and vibration, and they show up to play with you. So they're definitely here. But I think the key distinction, Eden, is that it's what frequency are you in?
Mm-hmm.
Because if you're in a right frequency, you can't define it as third dimensional illusion. You're in a frequency that allows the connection of what else is here. It's all interconnected. Lartmus likes to tell people everything happens multidimensionally simultaneously. So people talk about different timelines and different dimensions, and that's all well and good, but it's all happening at the same time. It's a frequency registration. Am I registering my frequency at the level where I can see Larkma standing in front of me, where I can see the fairies that are right there, where I can be like Pia Cullen and we actually dance with the little people in a ceremony, which we have done. Can I be in that frequency? And as long as we're humans on Earth, I think it is fairly impossible to be in that frequency all the time, because part of our mission is to bring that frequency into the lower vibrations. So we have to go into the lower vibrations and see what's going on to be able to speak like the three of us are doing now, to bring up the awareness of the higher frequency that we can embody.
There are innumerable kingdoms that are here on this planet right now amongst us. There are the David kingdom, the elemental kingdom, which all come under the auspices of Pan's kingdoms. There are so many different groups. There are water beings, water sylphs, there are fairies. We all exist simultaneously on this planet. And Pia is absolutely right. It's a frequency vibrational situation where when we bring our vibration up to the level of what these other kingdoms live in all of the time, that is when the merging comes together. We have misused this planet as humanity for millennia. The other kingdoms have pulled away for centuries. Since the advent of the Industrial Revolution 300 years ago, when we became very smart pantsy humans thinking we are going to control nature.
Yeah.
We are going to control the elements, the metals, the minerals, whatever is part of the makeup of this planet. When we decided, well, I don't know who decided actually, but when it was decided that that was going to happen, all of
Under the delusion that humans are the smartest beings on the earth or in the galaxy. Go ahead.
Thank you, Pia, which we are absolutely not.
Not.
We are not the ultimate. We are not the ultimate smartest group here on this planet.
Or in the cosmos.
So
Yes.
all of these kingdoms began pulling away. There used to be a magical, alchemical connection between humanity and all these other kingdoms. We shared wisdom, we shared understanding, we shared love. When we started really screwing up the naturalness of this planet, all of these kingdoms started retracting themselves. They started moving back and saying, we're sorry, but we don't trust you any longer because you're ruining our environment. It's our environment too. It doesn't just belong to you humans. So all of the ancient myths, all of the ancient things about in Ireland, the leprechauns, in Hawaii, the Manahunis, the little people in Iceland, all of these are real, absolute kingdoms that exist. And they're doing their utmost to keep the balance of what we should all be doing. They're doing their part. We've stopped doing our part.
But there are some places around the planet that are more open to that. For Iceland, for instance, they had a road crew working to build a road, and some 2 or 3 humans on the road crew said, uh-oh, there's a problem here. And they looked, and a couple of the hidden people were standing and saying, no, we have a community here. You can't build here. The hidden people are defined as, you can't tell them from human, but if you look down, they have no feet. They're sort of floating on the air. So in Iceland, they know that they can acknowledge this is part of their community. The entire road crew stopped. There was a governmental decision. We cannot destroy this community, even though not everybody can see it. And the road was rerouted. So there are some places that still will do that kind of thing, but they're becoming fewer and farther between.
So there are examples of places in our third dimensional experience where connection was remade. The great experience of Findhorn in Scotland, the groups that got together, the humans, this was in the late 60s, early 70s, people who could communicate with these other kingdoms started understanding that if we cooperate again, we will be able to create totally unusual experiences with agriculture. Findhorn did that. It's still going on now. I had an experience that I think I've shared with you and your audience. When I was 7 or 8 years old, I was given the chance to work with the David Kingdom, and I grew a garden a decade before Findhorn even began.
Yeah.
where I communicated with the Davic world with Pan's assistance. And I grew this marvelous garden. I was a little kid that didn't know anything about growing things or agriculture. And I took on this project and I grew a huge garden and I communicated with the Davics and the elementals on an everyday basis. Nobody believed how I could grow these vegetables and these fruits that ended up being 10 times their size.
Oh,
And they grew, instead of taking weeks to mature, they matured either overnight or in 2 or 3 days.
wow.
It's possible. It's just that we have to be willing to have the imagination and the ability to say, yes, I want to cooperate.
I would say for your listeners,
Yeah.
and start with houseplants. We have 2 beautiful family members that sit on our table where we work. And one of them will say, Psst, Cullen, I'm thirsty. And Cullen will say, Beatrice is thirsty, and we'll feed Beatrice water.
What did you say, Beatrice?
Beatrice, that's
I
her
love
name.
that.
The other one, I was sitting here the other day and I was not feeling very well at all. And this very kind male presence of the other plant, we have 1 female, 1 male, got my attention and said, are you okay? Do you need sunshine? Do you need water? It offered me everything that a plant needs because it saw and perceived that I was not okay, which immediately made me better because I was communicating with something from another kingdom saying, what do you need? Pay attention. What do you need? Everybody can do that.
We could regale you and share with your audience many, many experiences that we've had with the plant kingdom. It's not appropriate to go into it now time-wise, but we've had these experiences that absolutely prove that there is interspecies communication. It's possible, it's real, and it's wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
And how would y'all, in terms of categorizing, that the kingdoms exist on Earth, yet it's a different vibration. You have to be open to it. Then the galactics, is that also like out there, a cosmos out there, or is that, from your perception, also a vibration? How would you classify that?
It's the same. It's the same.
Say one thing.
Sure.
Yeah.
Personally, not get rid of the word categorize.
Thank you.
That's
Yeah.
realizing it. Everything is
Yes.
now.
Well, it's the same thing, whether it's a plant species, whether it's a dog, whether it's a bear, whether it's a galactic being from the stars, it's the same thing. It's simply saying, who are you? I want to communicate. I want to be part of your world. It doesn't matter the makeup of the energy of the being. It's the same process.
And I think the categorization, as you were just asking the question, is what humans automatically do because we've been trained.
Yeah.
Are they up there? Are they in the earth? Are they in my backyard? Where are they? What are they? Everything is energy. Everything is energy. LARCMA has shown us over the almost 25 years we've been working with them, they can be any shape they want to be.
Mm-hmm.
Typically, they show up as blue waves of energy. People can see them behind our presentations. So typically they show up that way, but as we've expressed on your show before, they can also manifest in multiple other ways. So I think each energy group chooses to manifest in a way that we can perceive them. So we perceive the fairies, we perceive the little people, we perceive interstellar friend. We perceive it from our human perspective, but ultimately they're all energy. And they're all showing up according to what frequency we're in at that moment. Want to add to?
I like energy group. That's a great word. Great terminology.
I think I can give a really short example. We were at a conference. We were keynote speakers a couple of months ago. And a lot of the talk, a lot of the information at this conference, it was a big international conference, was about disclosure. Mm-hmm. And Pia and I have a really different attitude about disclosure. We are involved with disclosure every day that we work with extraterrestrial beings. It's not waiting for the government to say, yes, they're real. It's okay if you believe in it. It's going on every day
We're
on
going to
this
show you what a
planet.
ship looks like when we've
And
seen ships ourselves.
so my example in speaking at this conference was,
I love that.
it's not about the government. It's about us.
Yeah.
When we raise our vibration to match all other energies' vibrations,
Mm-hmm.
that is when the connection will happen. And it's already happening. There are channelers, there are psychics, there are mediums all over the world who are working with other beings every day. So why do we have to wait for the government to disclose that they're here?
Or tell us what category they belong in, as in, are they going to eat us and we have to, or are they here to help us? And if so, we manipulate how they help us.
So
Yeah.
so the reason I brought this up is it's up to us. It's not up to any government, any religion, any outside influence. It's up
Right.
to us to do our work. And when we finally accomplish raising our own vibration,
Ooh,
that is when disclosure will actually happen.
give me some chills. Love it. All right. I'm going to ask y'all some questions to give just if these work. Let's try this just to give some answers, and then we'll go into the new earth practice, which used to be the Just Be practice. All right. Y'all have given many important things for the audience to know, but okay, if I said what is the one of the most important things right now for your audience to know, or for this audience to know, what would you say? And we just talked about disclosure.
I think that's a really easy answer.
Yeah.
We've already discussed it today with you and your audience, but I will make it hopefully clearer. Go inward. Stop going outward. All of the answers, all of the wisdom are inside us.
Trust your heart. Trust your intuition. Stop overthinking everything.
Everything that we were before we incarnated this time on earth, we've brought with us. It's been locked in our hearts, and our job is simply to unlock what we already know. That is the fundamental answer to how can we evolve? How can we grow? How can we expand? Go inwards. Stop looking outside of ourselves for rescue or safety or the ultimate answer. We have all the answers. We have all the safety. We have all the wisdom directly inside of us.
Ooh. And it's so wild, y'all. As I look at these questions, we've answered them today. So it's kind of like a summary of what we've discussed. And I think we'll just ask three more. Okay. What is one of the most important things for the audience to let go of right now?
Fear.
Oh,
Fear. Go ahead.
fear foremostly, belief systems that no longer keep us in the place where we thought the belief systems kept us safe. Belief systems are made up in the mind. They have nothing to do with the heart. And yet humans cling to belief systems that we thought, whether it was given to us by our family, government, religion, medicine, science, those belief systems were never real. They were never helpful. They only made us think we were safe. So if we let go of our belief systems and go inwards, that will liberate us. That will set us free.
And circling back around, don't be afraid to let go of what you believe.
Ooh, yeah, that's a big one. Y'all know the big one for me recently was food, the whole concept of food. And it wasn't scary, it was just shocking. Again, we go into indoctrination and the programming of it all to okay. What is one of the most riveting discoveries that y'all have just made?
That's a really hard question because we've been having riveting discoveries since we got here.
Yes.
I would say discovering discovering how evident the big split is right now, that
Mm.
it's becoming more and more evident, would be one thing that I would focus on, that we have to just allow that these people who are on the other side of the split from us are following their own path, and that it's okay, and they don't have to agree with us or understand what we're doing. Just accept that they're on that side of the big split and do what we can on our own side by making parallel alternate choices. That's one thing that comes up for me.
I have an additional thought about that. I think one of the most riveting revelations for me recently
Mm-hmm.
is that there are more and more kingdoms and there are more and more energies that we as humans haven't been aware of, that are coming
Ooh.
closer to us and wanting to communicate, wanting to speak, wanting to cooperate. P and I have been aware of inner earth beings. We used to bring Larkma to Mount Shasta on a regular basis. And Mount Shasta is known internationally as the place where Talos is positioned, where there are connections with the inner earth. I mean, that's been going on for 50 years or more.
But people are not quite as aware that Sedona, Arizona is equally accessible to the inner earth beings.
But
Makes sense.
the interesting thing is more and more inner earth beings are coming forward and speaking and communicating. The inner earth is just as real and just as important as the outer earth. And people's understanding that inside the earth is just molten lava and that's all it is. There's a whole world inside this physical planet that is generated through the crystal kingdom. They have light, they have energy, they have waterfalls, they have rivers, they have lakes, they have oceans. People don't understand that there's a completely different experience inside our earth.
Because science says that's not true. So
Right.
those two things together, what I said about the Great Split and what Cullen just shared, I would say another thing that has been revelatory for us lately is how much time, if you want to call it time,
Yeah.
of dimension, we're spending in other realms, because we're spending less and less moments of our energy present in the third dimension, and more we are in other dimensions.
Mm-hmm.
And it's quite an opening experience.
It's showing us that the multidimensionality that Larkma's been talking about, and not just Larkma, many other beings of wisdom and light, we're all capable of being in multidimensional experiences on a daily basis. It's just that we've been taught, once again, don't believe that you're anything other than a human, dense body with a personality, and that's it. That's all you are. We are so much greater than our physicalness. We're here in a physical body on purpose because it allows us to experience things that other groups around the universe can't experience because they're not in physical bodies. It's a plus situation. People see it as a challenge, but actually it's an opportunity. So I agree with Pia, actually. With the knowledge and the ability to be in multidimensional experience is becoming a much more accessible experience than ever before. And I think you particularly are experiencing that in your life. And it's an opening that's incredible.
It is incredible because I had a connection to source a long time ago, let's say, yet just like you said, more dimensions, more, oh gosh, look at this. And I'm feeling this and I'm seeing this. And I do want to mention this because I want y'all's, I guess, your take on it. I found out recently, and I shared this with you guys quickly before we started the show, that the elementals are part of my soul family. But what I didn't tell you guys is when I moved to New Mexico and the Earthship, that apparently they are going to be pivotal in creating this Earthship and being a part of it and helping. And when I heard that, my soul and my heart just lit up because I knew I wasn't doing this by myself. But now suddenly there's just this team that's going to be there. And it is just riveting and beautiful and so unexpected. So I'm so touched by that. And I'm touched also to know that you guys have such a connection there because I don't know yet that many people that do. So even just talking about this with you guys feels like it opens the energy for me and for all of that. So I'm really grateful. Um, Please feel free to say anything you want about that, or we can just move right into the practice. What would y'all prefer?
Well, I would just like to comment briefly, if I can.
Yes.
Sometimes it's not so brief. We're all part of something else. We're all part of another energy or multiple energies. We all have connection to what many people would say otherworldly components. Some people are absolutely connected to the angelic kingdom.
Yeah.
Some people are connected to the Pleiadians. Some people are connected to the Arcturians. Some people are connected to the elementals. Some people are connected to the David kingdom, Pan's kingdom. Part of our makeup is not only multidimensional, but multiple kingdom-like. And what humans are beginning to understand is that I'm part this, I'm part that.
Yeah.
And we're a conglomeration of parts of all these energies that we're part of in parallel lives and here on Earth simultaneously. So when we have experiences where we connect with, let's say, knowing that you're part of the elemental kingdom, that is an opening. That is an affirmation that you're part of a much bigger system than just being a human on Earth.
Which brings us all the way back around again to everything is energy.
And I guess to say that everything is energy and all that energy is inside of us and it's all inside of us, not outside of us. Again, looking internally. Okay, that feels great. All right, New Earth practice. Lark Ma today or somebody else?
We don't know. We'll
Let's
join
see.
them, see who
I'm
shows
ready.
Let's see who wishes to speak.
Love that.
Garth here. I am from the inner earth. And since you've been speaking about my realm where I live, I would like to be the one who contributes to your conversation today. You have questions about what the new earth will be like. And I would say to all who are listening, the new earth can be seen by envisioning the inner earth. We are a beautiful, beautiful space of energy of beings who are guided by and filled with light, friends with the crystal kingdom because we know each crystal has wisdom, intelligence, and is here to be a guiding light to help us to shine light into our world and to receive from us as we shine our light into the crystals in return. Fair and equal exchange, a concept that is not understood very well on the surface of the planet, is lived by every day here in the inner earth. When you reach the frequency of the new earth, you will also have fair and equal exchange so that everyone will feel abundant because you will automatically be able to ask for and receive whatever you need. Because you will not try to manipulate each other or anything else, but instead will respect all energy and all life. The new earth is about all the things that Cullen and Pia mentioned: freedom, liberation, joy, bliss, sharing. All of the things that they mention are part of the new earth, but those things only exist in the higher frequencies. In the lower frequencies, you have pain, suffering, competition, greed, selfishness, separation, everything that causes you to react in a place that comes from absolute fear and control. So when you rid yourself, as Cullen suggested, of all of those beliefs about that, and you look at your own shadows and begin to love yourself as you clear those shadows, you raise your vibration continually, meaning that you are step by step raising your frequency so that you can ascend into the new earth. The new earth is here now. So when I say ascend into the new earth, I mean raise your frequency to see what is already here. Larkma speaks about the great split and the choices that your species is making to either follow the pull away from nature and follow the old paradigm, or to follow your hearts and realign with the nature that you are. For you are nature. You are part of this planet and you are part of the cosmos. This is the pathway of joining the new earth. And the new earth is here now. You may tap into it in a moment here and a moment there, but when your frequency is more aligned with these principles, you will know you have already gained entrance into the new earth. It's not something to strive for or achieve in the future. It is something that is available for you in each and every now moment. Do you have a specific question that you would like to ask of Inner Earth Guidance?
Garth, thank you for showing up again. I am closing my eyes and feeling the vibration of what you're talking about. Okay, how about in terms of tuning into that higher vibration, how would you recommend humans to do that?
Well, my partner, Evora, would tell you to do exactly what you're doing. Close your eyes, feel your heart, and distance yourself from the chaos and noise all around you. The more you can do that, and the more you can actually be in nature while you're doing that, listening to the bird song, feeling the wind on your skin, running your fingers or your feet through the water, listening and feeling to the rain as it patters around you, being grateful for the water and the wetness, looking at the sunshine or the light that pours into your planet where you are now. As you open to these experiences as being a part of who you are, then you are connecting to the inner earth and the new earth as it is coming into your frequency, or rather, you are coming into its frequency. I would add to what Evora says as honor all consciousness. That means do no harm. Do not take a life, whether it is an insect that is annoying you or something you've been programmed to believe is nurturous for you, which it is not. Honor all life. Honor all consciousness. Doing this raises your frequency to be of the galactic awareness and of the inner earth awareness, the elemental awareness, the Davic awareness, the angelic awareness, and all kingdoms. We are all here in the frequency that you can meet us in when you raise your own frequency. We are here for you. We support you. And we are speaking up now more and more and more because people are more interested in and aware of the greater truth. I and many others will be speaking at the Sedona event that Pia and Cullen are bringing to the world, offering suggestions of how to move through this very challenging time, offering guidance and answering questions for people who feel stuck. That is why we are all coming together for this specific event that is going to be presented in Sedona, where there is access to the inner earth kingdoms. We are here waiting for you. All the ships that you see in your skies are also here waiting for you. And we appear wherever you are as well, because time and space do not really exist. So band together, come and join us if you wish, either through your heart and your quiet listening or in community as we are gathered together in the Sedona event that is coming. Whatever you wish that your heart guides you to do, follow it, for the heart holds all the wisdom, and it is helping you to obtain the frequency that you need to reach the kingdom of the new earth that you are ascribing to reach. I hope that is helpful for you. I trust that Evora and I, together with our shared perspectives, have brought you some insights to help you grow and evolve. And we return to our realm now as you return to yours.
That was lovely. Hey, Garth's doing some promoting. I like that. And tell me more about the Sedona event that's coming, because obviously it's important for him too, because he's like, I feel that this is going to be a stage where people are going to listen. And I know that y'all had talked about before that the inner earth beings have not wanted or really desired to cooperate because we weren't cooperating. And now they're just coming up. So he's like, that's where I'm going to be. Be there. Listen. All right. Tell me about that.
Well, first of all, it surprises us too, and one of our friends decides to talk about the event we're doing. We don't know personally for Cullen and Pia exactly who's going to show up, but
Yeah.
we've already been told by several of them. Cosmic Dr. Antonis says, I'm going to be there. Garth has just publicly said, I'm going to be there. Lartma will be there. So we are excited about this event because it is here in a place that is known for bringing in higher wisdom. Not everybody here is aligned with that, of course, like
Yeah.
everything on earth, there's duality, but this is a particular place that is open to those energies. So Cullen and I have been drawn here specifically because we know where to bring this cosmic wisdom into the community here and to anybody who wants to be in that energy.
Okay. So when is the event?
The event is August 1st in Sedona, and that is Sedona time. It will be between 1 o'clock in the afternoon and 5 o'clock in the afternoon. There will be channeled information, question and answer, chance to talk to Cullen and me personally. It's at Shine Sanctuary for the Soul in Sedona, and there's information about it on our website. On the homepage, just look at Larkma, LAARKMAA.com, and it's on the homepage.
Is that something that you have to be there in person, or can you link to it or get recordings after?
We will have a live stream event so people can join the live stream. And if you're in another time zone where the live stream doesn't work for you, you'll be provided the recording afterwards if you get the live stream.
Very nice. How many y'all have done many Sedona events in the past year? Isn't that right? I know there was at least one other big one that y'all did.
We were keynote speakers in the Sedona Ascension Retreat in March. We'll be participating in an event for the heart coherence people in November. Mm-hmm. And this is a solo thing that we're doing on our own without sitting with others. It'll be just Cullen and me bringing what we bring.
Wow. Okay, yeah, the one in March was when I was doing my breatharian retreat. I was like, oh my gosh, otherwise I would have been there. Y'all, thank you so much. As always, so delicious, so good. What else can I say so with? So yummy. And we'll see you guys soon, right?
We hope so.
Absolutely.
Please subscribe this channel. And 24 to maybe 48 hours after the show, right after it is aired, me, Pia, and Cullen will answer comments, questions. Well, maybe not every question, but most questions. So engage. Bye, everybody. Bye.
Bye.